Domain flipping. It's a term that has been thrown around a lot lately, especially in the world of online entrepreneurship. The concept is simple. Buy domain names at a low price and sell them at a higher price. Sounds dead easy, doesn't it? Buy low, sell high. It's like the digital version of flipping houses, but instead of dealing with bricks and mortar, you're dealing with URLs and web addresses. Like selling shoes, but with websites. Everyone's at it. From tech-savvy teenagers to seasoned entrepreneurs, the allure of making quick money from the comfort of your home is irresistible. Your nan's probably flogging premium domains down the bingo hall, but hold your horses. The reality is far from the dream. It's not all sunshine and profit parties. The market is saturated, and finding a valuable domain is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's not just about buying any domain and hoping it sells. You need to research, understand market trends, and sometimes even predict the future needs of businesses. It's not all sunshine and profit parties. Truth is, flipping domains is more like panning for gold than strolling down easy street. You spend ages sifting through dirt, hoping for a nugget. You spend hours, sometimes days, researching potential domains, checking their availability, and assessing their potential value. And even then, there's no guarantee of success. You spend ages sifting through dirt, hoping for a nugget. Sometimes you find fool's gold, a domain that seems valuable but turns out to be worthless. It's a gamble, and not every bet pays off. Sometimes you find nothing at all. After all the effort, you might end up with empty hands and a sense of frustration. And you're always soaked, just like me after a day trip to Skegness. The emotional roller coaster of highs and lows can be exhausting. It's a roller coaster, this game. One moment you're on top of the world, the next you're questioning your life choices. Big highs, crushing lows, and enough jargon to make your head spin. From SEO to domain authority, there's a lot to learn and understand. So what's the hardest part? Is it the research, the constant monitoring of market trends, or the emotional toll it takes? Well, grab a cuppa and settle in, because I've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, slightly stained, but a bargain at a $5. The journey of domain flipping is not for the faint-hearted, but for those who persevere. The rewards can be worth it. First hurdle, finding a decent domain name. It's a task that seems simple at first, but quickly turns into a frustrating ordeal. You sit down, full of hope, ready to claim your perfect online identity. But then reality hits. It's like trying to find a parking space in Birmingham on a Saturday. The more you search, the more you realize how crowded the internet has become. Every good name is already taken. Everything good is gone. Taken by big companies, domain hoarders, or your nan. Yes, even your nan has a domain name. And it's not just the good ones that are gone, it's the decent ones too. You end up trawling through lists of available domains longer than the queue at Alton Towers. It's a never-ending scroll of mediocrity. You start to wonder if you'll ever find something that isn't completely ridiculous. And they're all terrible. Misspellings, weird hyphens, domains about niche hobbies that don't even exist. You see names that make you question humanity's creativity, or lack thereof. I once saw mylittleponytaxidermy.com going cheap. It was a real bargain if you're into that sort of thing. But for most of us, it's just another example of how bizarre the domain name landscape has become. Tempting, but not quite a goldmine. You start to think maybe you should settle for something less than perfect, but then you remember why you started this search in the first place. And even when you think you've struck gold, you check the history. You finally find a name that seems perfect, only to discover its dark past. Turns out, it used to belong to a company selling dodgy diet pills or something. Toxic backlinks everywhere. It's like finding out your dream house was built on a landfill. Back to the drawing board then. The search continues, and you can't help but wonder if there's a perfect domain name out there waiting for you to find it, or if it's just another digital unicorn forever out of reach. Speaking of dodgy, let me tell you about my first foray into the wild world of domain flipping. It was a time when the internet was like the Wild West, full of opportunities and pitfalls, and I was ready to stake my claim. I was fresh-faced, full of beans, armed with a Google search and a dream. I had heard stories of people making fortunes overnight by buying and selling domain names. It sounded like the perfect get-rich-quick scheme for someone like me, who had more enthusiasm than experience. I stumbled across a domain name bargainbuckethats.com. It seemed like a gold mine waiting to be tapped. I could already see the headlines. Young entrepreneur strikes it rich with bargain bucket hats. This is it, I thought. This is my ticket to the big time. I imagine myself lounging on a beach, sipping cocktails, all thanks to my brilliant investment. Never mind that I knew nothing about bucket hats or bargains or even websites, really. Details, details. I was convinced that my sheer willpower and a catchy domain name were all I needed. I remortgaged the garden shed and snapped it up. £500, a steal. I was so sure of my impending success that I didn't even flinch at the price. After all, you have to spend money to make money, right? Turns out nobody wants a bucket hat, even at a bargain price. My dreams of beachside luxury quickly evaporated as I realized that my brilliant idea was, in fact, a complete dud. Who knew? Certainly not me. I was left with a domain name that nobody wanted and a £500 hole in my pocket. It was a harsh wake-up call, but an important one. I learned a valuable lesson that day. Do your research, kids. The internet may be full of opportunities, but it's also full of traps for the unwary. Always make sure you know what you're getting into before you dive in head first. And maybe, just maybe, steer clear of bucket hats. Now, before you click away, thinking this domain flipping lark is all doom and gloom, I've got a little something for you. A secret weapon, if you will. Ready for it? It's called research. I know, boring, right? But trust me on this, there are tools out there, my friends. Websites and software that can tell you everything you need to know about a domain. They can tell you how many people are searching for similar terms, how much competition there is, even how much the domain is actually worth. No more relying on gut instinct and blind optimism. The art of the deal, more than just haggling. Finding a good domain is only half the battle. Next, you've got to convince someone to buy the bloody thing. And that, my friends, is where the real fun begins. Welcome to the thrilling world of negotiation. Now, I'm not talking about some aggressive, shouty, apprentice-style showdown. This is about charm, wit, and a dash of good old-fashioned psychology. You need to understand what the buyer wants, what they're willing to pay, and how to make them think they're getting a right bargain. The waiting game. Patience is a virtue and a bank account saver. You've found a great domain. You've valued it sensibly. You've even found a potential buyer. Now you just have to wait, and wait, and wait some more. This is the hardest part for me. The waiting, the uncertainty, the constant checking of my emails like a lovesick teenager waiting for a text back. It's enough to drive you balmy. But patience is key, my friends. Hold your nerve, wait for the right offer, and try not to refresh your inbox every 5 seconds. From flops to flips, turning losses into lessons. Look, let's be honest, not every domain is going to be a winner. You're going to have flops. Domains that languish unsold, gathering virtual dust like that bread maker I bought in the first lockdown. It happens. But here's the thing, even flops can be valuable. Every mistake is a learning opportunity. Every unsold domain is a chance to analyze what went wrong and improve your strategy. So don't be afraid to fail. Embrace it, learn from it, and then go out there and make even more mistakes. Cracking the code. It's not just about the money, you know. So what's the hardest part about flipping domains? Is it the research, the negotiation, the waiting? Honestly, it's all of it, and more. But you know what? It's also incredibly rewarding, because flipping domains isn't just about making a quick quid. It's about creativity, strategy, and spotting potential where others see nothing. It's about the thrill of the chase, the satisfaction of a successful deal, and the joy of proving your nan wrong when she said you'd never amount to anything. Thanks for watching, and don't be stingy with the likes. Well, that's me done. Thanks for sticking with me on this whirlwind tour of the domain flipping world. I hope you found it insightful, entertaining, and maybe even a little bit inspiring. If you did, don't forget to give this essay a big thumbs up and share it with your mates. Let's spread the domain flipping love. And if you didn't enjoy it, well, you can always buy a vowel. They're going cheap these days.